I'm standing in front of the statue of St. Benedict on the west front of Norwich Cathedral. Benedict was the founder of monasticism in the West, and this cathedral, when it was founded, was also a monastic community living by the rule of St. Benedict. The basic idea that Benedict had was that everyone should have the opportunity to grow into his or her full potential as someone created in the image and likeness of God. And he set up his communities in order to enable people to do just that. Partly it was about living lives of prayer, but also it was about living lives of service for others, to enable others to grow into the fullness of their potential as well. And every corner of this cathedral and of the Cathedral Close is inhabited by ancient buildings which are reminders of that imperative to serve others and to grow into the likeness of God. Currently, the cathedral has an exhibition of artworks that are inspired by just this proposition. And we've worked with local charities in order to bring out the historic meaning of those locations, and with artists who have interpreted those locations for us to help us understand more deeply the heritage we have here in the Close. I'm standing now in front of the cathedral hostelry. In the Middle Ages, this was the place where the monastery offered hospitality to those who came as pilgrims and visitors, both high and low. The hostelry was created today as the place where we welcome our visitors to the cathedral. It's also a place where we have room for functions and for teaching. And one group that comes here for teaching is the charity English Plus, who welcome refugees and other migrants to Norwich and helps them to integrate into society and to learn English. This installation by artist Deborah Thompson takes those varied backgrounds of those who've come to Norwich and represented their cultural heritage by using these plates to show recipes from their home countries of origin. For example, a recipe from Belarus, or of a Japanese breakfast, or French crepe. People coming from all over the world to live in Norwich, and who enrich the life of our city by the various cultures that they represent and bring to the city. I'm now standing in Almery Green. The name reflects that in the Middle Ages this was the site of a monastic almonry, just inside the Ethelbert Gate, and where the poor would come and receive their donations of bread, food, and clothing. The installation here is by artist Hardy Grew, and it's called The Cloak of St. Martin. And he's created this work in association with St. Martin's Housing Trust, a local charity that supports the homeless. They've worked together to create this church, which reflects the prior existence of the Church of St. Ethelbert in this location. But Hardy's created a church without walls to reflect his desire for inclusiveness and for all to feel that they have a welcome in this place. The installation is named after St. Martin, who was a Roman soldier in 4th century Gaul. One day on duty, he encountered a naked beggar in the gate of Amiens, and he, having nothing else to give him, took his sword, divided his cloak, and shared it with the beggar. Later that night, Martin had a dream in which Christ revealed himself to him and said that he was the beggar whom Martin had helped. And this inspiring story has motivated the work of St. Martin's Housing Trust to care for the homeless and the needy, and it reflects the responsibility we all have to share what we have with one another, that we might too grow in the likeness of Christ. I'm now standing in the cathedral cloister, a place of quiet and contemplation, reading and writing in the medieval monastery. Artist Lily Bunny has worked with school children from Norfolk, from Great Yarmouth and Little Walsingham to create these stained glass windows. They've strung glass beads onto strings to create these delightful images full of stillness and contemplation. While working together, they've been listening to chant and trying to get into the spirit of the monks who would have worked and lived here. bringing together these artists, the work of these charities, members of our Norwich Cathedral community and the life of the city has been a great blessing in helping us to understand better the history of this cathedral, but also our life together today, and how in the spirit of St. Benedict, it is essential that in order to grow to our own potential as human beings, we learn to serve one another.